Hello and greetings. My name is Hada Mahmoud. I'm a civil engineer. I have graduated from Boğaziçi University in Turkey from the field of construction engineering and management. And I'm doing my second master's, which is also on geography and heritage management for international cooperation in Italy. I'm also a professional researcher right now in University of Florence in Italy. Today I'm going to present to you use of an article which I wrote about drones and its uses in construction sites. Okay, in this presentation, I'm going to present you first of all the introduction of drones and the key features, the type of construction drones and application of the drones, and challenging which are facing. And in the last part, it will be conclusion. So let's start. Okay, starting from introduction of drones. Actually, they were the actual name is UAVs, also means unnamed, unmanned aerial vehicles or drones. Drones itself means aircraft. They were originally invented as a war weapon, and they were used for mission that would be very dangerous for humanity. But recently, they are also being used in other fields, for example, for civil purposes, for business purposes, for military purposes. Civil purposes, for example, they can be used for recreation or disaster relief, also maybe for archaeological sites or conservation of diversity, and maybe especially for law and enforcement. For business purpose, they can be used for journalism, or maybe, for example, for advertisements and agriculture purposes, also maybe for cargo transport and all that. And in military purpose, they can use for surveying, for some special missions which are related to military. But recently, the drones has really boomed the construction engineering industry. Like they are increasingly used in many countries to bring a huge benefit, especially those countries who are unstable or the security is not good enough, such as maybe we can say Africa or maybe Afghanistan or some other countries where the surveying and construction sites and all could be a little bit tricky. So they have been used for these purposes. So a key feature of drones, drones actually, it's very simple. It has very basic features. For example, it has a GPS, which monitors the longitude and latitude and elevation points. It has a camera that shoots high-resolution photos and time-lapse videos, and also thermal sensors that take aerial heat and thermal images. For example, you can see the movement of the bodies or maybe the thermal reaction of a building in construction. And it has a software which manipulates data and plan files. Path, for example, all data which is captured through maybe GPS, camera, or thermal sensor can be sent to computer by software, and the drones are also operated by software. So this is the main point of the feature. We have type of construction drones. There are various type of drones, but in construction, we are using the commercial drones. In commercial drones, there are two popular drones type. One is fixed wing drone, and other is rotary drone. Fixed wing drone is used for mapping and scanning. Why? Because it can go to really high distance or long distance because of its design. and other is rotary drones. So it's used for maybe inspection or surveying. Why? Because it can shoot a very short distance. So it is not, let's say, for example, that much powerful as fixed wing drones. So it is more light, the rotary drone. Okay, and now we have application in drones. For example, there are many applications, but I have figured out 10 which were more eye-catching, or let's say more important. So first of all is building surveying. Building surveying is one of the most important part in construction. And how can drone help us in this part? For example, it can save us from wasting of time. Like surveying is always time consuming. So it can easily survey this buildings, and it can also help us risk. What do I mean by risk? For example, there is a construction site which is located maybe in rural area, or maybe an area which is more dangerous for stakeholder or building owners to go. So surveying with drones can be more efficient because they can see the pictures and all, so they can easily survey the site. Also health and safety. How health and safety, for example, like while surveying a building, it's so dangerous, maybe the engineer can fall down, or there can be some risks regarding his health. So the drones totally minimize all these risks. The second one was construction site inspection. Actually, as I told you before, that large areas in construction site are really hard for inspection. For example, some stakeholders or maybe some building owners, they want to have the site inspection. Maybe they are not present in the city, or maybe they are not present in the country. So they can easily inspect the site via drones, and drones can give us HD quality also. So it's really better. Like drone can catch better than a human eye. We have health and safety induction. How this, for example, they are saving some data. You can survey through drones. You can see like where the excavation has been done, where the workers are working. So you can minimize the risk of accidents by the usage of drones. So that's also an important feature, or in the construction drones. We have maintenance and inspection. Like sometimes there are some high-rising buildings, or maybe there are some sites which can be challenging for human to go through this. For example, in the picture you can see there is a big pipe. Maybe for human it's hard to go and do the inspection inside. So for drone it's more easier. Or maybe there are some, as I said, high-rising buildings, and also it can be expensive. How expensive? For example, the arrangements for all this maintenance, or maybe the inspection of it, can be expensive. So drones really help us to do it quick and easy. And we have a project progress reports. This is actually so good for project managers, because nowadays, like, everyone is working remotely, so they prefer to stay at home. Sometimes if you, for example, the project managers do not want to go on site and like check the progress report, they can do it in home remotely. Via drones, they can operate and evaluate the reports, and they can do it like weekly or maybe on monthly basis. But for example, when a human being or when an engineer is doing it on site, so maybe he can only know about these progress reports maybe once in a month. So it's more quick and easy for the updates. We have promotional photography. As we know nowadays, drones are really used for commercial purposes, so it has impressive photography and also 4K or maybe HD video photos, and it can in all scale and size. So drone can catch every angle of a building or maybe a construction site, so it can be really effective for photography and for commercial purposes. And we also have live feed or ritual walk. For example, there are some building owners or construction site owners or stakeholders. They want to see or they want to experience the site from near, and they're outside the country, so they can experience it through the ritual walk around. Maybe it's more effective for surveying also, because you will feel like you're on the site. For example, you can do the virtual walk from the top of the construction site from each and every angle, which cannot be possible if a human or if an engineer do it himself. We also have purpose cloud or device scanning. This is most useful for some missing information, because when we have a large area for construction sites, so we always have some missing information. This really help us in finding some missing information, or maybe finding some surveying site for topography and cartography purposes. It can be more efficient. We have thermal imaging recording. This figure out the cold and hot spot of a construction site. For example, the cold spots are figured out as blue and the heat spots are figured out as red. So it can show us the reaction or what is going on in construction site, even the movement of humans inside the construction site. Most of time it is used during the night for the better evaluation. We have security. As I mentioned it again and again, that for large construction site, like for security, it's really efficient. Why? Because it's hard to maintain the security of large construction sites. So drones can be really effective, and even with the usage of its thermal feature, so they can figure out the movement of human beings and the movement of maybe some chemicals or other reaction on the construction sites. So these were all the 10 features that I explained. Now we have some challenges, like even an easy step, but still everything has some challenges. So the same drones also face some challenges. For example, it can be a lack of IT infrastructure. How this, for example, sometimes like using this drone may be hard or tricky between people or between some high-rising buildings. So that's why there are very less professionals who can do their work in a good way. So that's why it has been mentioned that there is a lack of IT infrastructure. And also rules and regulation, because drones are not a permitted equipment, so they are not permitted in everywhere, especially in some countries, even they are not allowed to use for commercial use. So there should be always some kind of, let's say, a certificate that has been used, or maybe some licensing, so you can show the government that we are allowed to use these drones. We also have pilot licensing. As I said, that it's tricky to use drones, especially when the area is very tight, or that there are more people around that area. So there should be some trainings in their job, or for example for engineers, for their pilot licensing, because it's same like being a normal pilot. You are operating the device from a room through the software, so it's even more tricky and hard. And there are some trained operators, as I said, that for after like taking the pilot license, then you should be trained in the work. So for example, you cannot use drones after taking your license, or maybe after finishing the training. So you need some experience, so you can be more efficient in usage of drones. So these were the challenges which are facing. And nowadays, like construction industry is facing these challenges. So overall, although there are some challenges but there are still some good points. So nowadays, like the drone system has really boomed construction industry, and people are more likely to use this war weapon more than a construction equipment in their daily lives, which has really made the work of engineers and project managers easier, and they are more sufficient or more beneficial in construction sites. So thank you so much. If you have any questions.